All right, so I met this speaker when I moved here from San Diego, and I went to talk to him, and then I think because I started me and my brother, we started playing when we were like 9 years old, right? So I was talking to him, I don't know what he does, he was just over there. I was like, why is this guy like cleaning trash? Like he was just cleaning trash. So I'm like, okay, let me go talk to him, see if he needs help cleaning, because it's really hard, like, you know, to do all of that type of service. Well, it turned out he's probably the biggest Hmong developer and businessman in the world. And so I was very fortunate. I went there to talk to him, to try to help him clean trash, right? That's what it was. So I don't know if you remember that or not, but that's how I remembered it. And then later, part of what we're doing with this conference, I stated this earlier, is that we're going to dedicate 10 years to running this, not the conference, but the platform, okay? So the Hmong Wealth Builders platform, we're going to dedicate 10 years to do it, to provide resources back to the Hmong community, to build millionaires, multimillionaires for us in the future, okay? So that's the dedication that we have. The reason for that dedication is because of this individual, right? I went to talk to him, we have lunch probably over there, in one of the rooms, and he asked me what my wife and I are doing, right? So he said, and for how long? I'm like, why do you need to know how long we're gonna do this thing, like, right? So I told him, yeah, we have 20-year plans to do real estate. And they have to go that, yeah, that's good, because 20 years, give you guys a good odds of success, all right? So that teaches me that whatever you do, you need to dedicate your time, a long time horizon to do it. And you call odds of success, tell it more, all right? So that's why we're gonna do this for 10 years. And then after that, I hope one of you guys take it and run it and make it as big as possible, all right? So with that said, you guys see the billboards back here, right? So I'm not, no real introduction. I just want to bring the biggest developer, the biggest entrepreneurs, among entrepreneurs, right? So please stand. Help me welcome Kou Vang. Kou Vang.
Turn down the light, you're getting scared me. Thank you, Kou. Thank you. You would think that after 40 years in the state, we would all learn how to do it by white people time, right? But we're not. So after 40 years, we're still on Hmong time. So I know you guys have had a long day. From what Fong was saying, you guys probably had a great long day. And I know you guys are probably hungry, probably had a little bit too many Coronas right now. But I'll try to make this fast so that you guys can get to your food and get to the important stuff, which is the networking and all the other stuff, right? So, thank you for those kind words. Every time I do this, people tend to exaggerate a little bit more than what the reality is. So, but I appreciate it. It makes me feel a little bit better about myself every day. So, I appreciate it. As Tu said, my name is Kou Vang, Kou Vang. Okay, I am the president and CEO of JB Vang, a real estate development company in the Twin Cities, and then Legacy Funeral Home, which is a Hmong funeral home in the Twin Cities, and Lake Country Community Bank, which is a community bank that has been serving the Morristown, Faribault, Near Strand area for the last 95 years. Then my wife and my kids, we also own a number of other businesses that we own all over the country. But those are the ones in which Hmong people kind of know. So I'll tell you those instead. So tonight, Tu wants me to talk about building generational wealth. And when he told me that, I kind of laughed and I said, well, I'm probably not the right person because I don't have generational wealth. I started out poor, so nobody gave me any money. And I haven't left any money to any of my kids yet, so I don't even know what generational wealth is, right? But Tu was pretty persuasive, so he said, just talk about it anyway. So I'm gonna give it my best shot and we'll see what happens, right? So there's a saying that I'm sure all of you guys have heard in different variation. Okay? My grandfather walked 10 miles to work every day. My father walked 5 miles. I drive a Cadillac. My son is in a Mercedes. My grandson will be in a Ferrari, but my great-grandson will be walking again, right? This is the fear. This is the hope. He was a little bit generous because if you follow that trend, he's talking about 4 generations. Yeah. The reality is that it doesn't take that long, right? In Hmong, we have a similar saying, right? Getsanye oto yumo gencha. Gencha oto yumo getao shaku. Geku oto yumame. Gevame oto yutunge. Getunge takang oto bebo getsanye. Right? We see that generation after generation. You see that, right? Generations after generation. The hopes and dreams and the fear is what drives us to build wealth. And we do it so that we can sustain our families for future generations. But then by doing that, they don't work as hard as we do, so then they lose all of the wealth and it becomes a problem. But it can be sustained. It can, and people have done it. From an institutional perspective, the Windsor family, right? The royal family of England. They've been in power since 1907, 116 years, 4.5 generations, right? If you count back to the Saxon-Coburg-Gotha family, which is the predecessor of them, that's 900, they've been in power since 957 AD, 1,066 years, right? Japan's Chrysanthemum throne, they've been around since 97 BC, 77 generations. Thailand's House of Chakrai has been around since 1238 AD, 31.5 generations. And the mother of them all, the Roman Catholic Church, been around since 3080. 30 years after the death of Christ, they've been around. 1,993 years, 80 generations. But these are institutions, but they're made by people, but yet they can sustain wealth. How about families? The Rothschild family, banking and finance, worth about 400 billion right now, right? But nobody really knows because they're incredibly secretive all over the world. Been around since 1744, 279 years, 11 generations. The Astor family, the Waldorf Astoria, right in New York. Astor Row, Astor Court, Grand Hotel. Been around since the 1700s, 7 generations. The DuPont family, gunpowders and chemical, right? The art of war, right? 9 generations. And then we have today's families, the Waltons, the Kochs, the Mars, the Cargo McMillans, the S.C. Johnsons, the Hearst, the Rockefeller. And then in recent days, you have the Bezos, the Gates, the Buffetts, the Zuckerbergs, and the Musk, right? Let's see how far that goes. Let's see how long they can keep off. It is estimated that 70% of all wealth is lost by the second generation. 70%. 90% of all wealth is lost by the third generation. An average of 25 years per generation, that means within 75 years, 90% of all wealth is lost. That's a huge amount, right? Why do we work so hard if our kids are gonna piss it away after we're dead, right? But we have to make sure that they don't piss it away, okay? But before we can become millionaires, let's just define millionaires first, okay? And all of you guys are millionaires, I know all of you guys are. Because it's a simple bar, right? A millionaire, it's a math equation. A millionaire is someone that has a net worth of $1 million. The formula is, take everything that you own, how much is it worth, subtract out all the debt that you owe, and if you're left with $1 million, you're a millionaire, right? Bet you 100% of you guys in here are all millionaires anyway, right? But yeah, because we all have wealth, okay? There are 56.1 million millionaires worldwide. 88% are self-made. we have great odds of becoming a millionaire. 88% are self-made. That means only 12% comes from generational wealth, right? We have as good of an odds as anybody else out there to make it. Here's another number. Senator Powell would appreciate this. 84% has a college degree. Okay? I know many of you are saying, whoa, Hingaku, Gates, Zuckerberg, Musk don't have a college degree. And they're probably three of the most wealthiest people in human history, right? Understand this. All three of them has an IQ over 150. The average IQ in the US is 98. They're 50% smarter than any one of us. Do you guys really want to take your chances with that? Right? With all the wealth in the world, 1.1% of the world's population owns $195 trillion, or 46% of the world's wealth. 1.1%, right? I understand equality, I understand wealth distribution. That's another topic for smarter people than me to discuss. It's not me. It's probably not for the rest of you guys too, because we all want to make money, right? So let's skip that one, and we'll let the senator deal with that at the legislative level, okay? But here's the thing. Most millionaires are not even considered to be in the top 1%. They're close to the top 10%. To be in the top 1%, your net worth must be over $11 million. I think we have a lot of millionaires. I don't think we have a lot of 1% millionaires. I think that's a little bit higher goal. So it looks like we all have a little bit of work to do. So where do we start, right? We start by looking inward. We start by defining who we are, and we start by defining how do we want to build wealth. There's a lot of ways to build wealth in this country. You can do it through real estate, which is what a lot of you guys do. You can buy, you can sell, you can construct, you can develop, you can invest, right? A lot of you guys do that. Or you can do it through operating a business, such as Sai and Lee does, such as a lot of you guys in there, such as Yang does with Yummy, okay? There are a lot of ways to build wealth, and you can build wealth in a bull economy or in a bear economy. It really doesn't matter. You don't have to wait to build wealth because there is no opportune time. Now, I'm not saying that I have the secret sauce, okay? I'm not saying that I know how to be successful. But since Tu asked me to talk about this, what I will tell you is how I think I reached the small little of success in which I have, okay? Hopefully from that, you guys can then determine if that's useful for you or not, okay? I believe, and I've been doing this probably since before a lot of you guys are born, right? So I've been doing this since 1996, okay? 30 plus years. I found, for me, there are three things in which determines if I'm going to be successful or not. It all comes down to how do I prepare myself, how do I deliver my service, and how do I carry myself. That's it. There's no secret. Anybody else can have other secrets, but I really don't. Many people have said to me that Kou, success comes from the fact that you have been lucky, which I have. I've been very lucky in my life, okay? And you fall into situations that benefits you. I don't totally disagree with that, but I think a little bit of skills also fell into that, right? Okay? I believe that Lady Luck visits us every day, all of us. Because luck alone does not guarantee success. And I believe we're all lucky, right? Okay? That just means that you're just sitting there and you hope that lightning strikes. It isn't going to strike you, okay? Okay? We have to be ready to be successful. And we do that by making sure we have the right education, the right experience, the right desire, the right work ethics, and we're planning. If we do all that, and luck comes knocking at your door, open it, and welcome luck in. But if you're not doing all that, if you're not ready, and luck comes knocking at your door, and you go look at it, and go, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm not gonna do that, right? Lucky's gonna go right down the street, probably went out of Stephen Kou's house. I mean, according to what you guys are saying, Stephen probably opened his door and took all of the Lucky in last year, right? So we have to be prepared, and you owe it to yourself, if nothing else, out of self-respect, to be prepared, okay? If you're in the business of serving clients, you owe it to yourself to be prepared for your client. You're asking them to pay you a lot of money for your service. The hard-earned money that they worked 40, 60, 80 hours a week for to pay you. So you owe it to them that when they hire you, you are the best at what you are, right? You have to get that education base. And I don't care what it is. I'm not saying all you guys need to go out and get a bachelor's or a doctor or whatever. We've known many doctors that doesn't amount to much. We've known many doctors that are great. We know many people that don't have higher education that are doing well, right? You have to get the right education for what you guys are doing, okay? Get all the license, get all the requirements. I don't know about where you guys are from, but up here I hear a lot of these Hmong contractors. They call themselves construction folks. They're out there fixing houses, fixing windows and stuff of that nature, but then when you go look at the permit, it's pulled by somebody else's name. Well, if you're gonna go out there and sell people that you're a contractor, then by all means, have the decency and the respect to go out and get a contract. There's license, right? And not pawn that off into somebody else. Get the license so that you can do the business. If you don't, it becomes a problem. Truly understand what your business is, not just the jargons and the acronyms. All of you guys are in real estate. So if I say to you, I have this project, it's got a 6 to 8% cash on cash, an ROI of 12% over the whole period, and an IRR of 17% and a 5 to 7 year hold. If you're a real estate investor and you're selling that project as a syndication to somebody else, and they're going to give you $150,000 to put into that syndication for you to do that project, man, you better know the difference between a cash on cash, an ROI, and an IRR. You better understand how those formulas are calculated and what the factors are that are impacting those, because why would you take someone's hard-earned money if you don't understand that business, right? You have to have some self-respect. So I'm going to tell you guys a story. A couple years ago, I was approached by a young lady out of Milwaukee. And she came up and she was introduced to me by a friend that I trust. We sat down and talked, and she wanted to pitch her idea to me. So she started going off on the idea, and I said, okay, before you do that, can you just tell me what is it that you do? She said, well, it's very complicated. And I said, no, there's nothing in life that is that complicated. She's like, no, this is. And I go, well, if it's that complicated, then don't tell me, because I won't understand it. I'm a dumb guy. Okay, I'm a really dumb guy, so don't tell me it's too complicated. No, but I'll explain to you. So she went through all the stuff, and I said, so you're telling me you're in the currency arbitrage business? She's like, yeah. I said, so you're buying money when the market closes in Europe and hope that by the time the market opens in the US, you can make a spread. She's like, yep. So what is your rate of return? 14%. And I looked at her, I go, man, either you think I'm an incredible idiot to not understand that, or you just don't have any self-respect in your own knowledge base. I buy and sell money for a living, guys, okay? I understand currency arbitrage better than anybody else out there. You don't do 14% monthly on currency arbitrage. You're lucky if you're doing 25 basis point on a daily trade. Needless to say, our friend there is in jail for fraud for over 24 million, right? Know your industry, respect yourself, understand the money that you are getting from people are their hard-earned money. Don't take advantage of them. Be prepared to be lucky. How many of you guys in here have an Apple iPhone, Apple computer, right? Everybody thinks that Steve Jobs founded Apple. Steve Jobs did not. Steve Jobs was an opportunistic computer sales guy that ran into Steve Wozniak, who put the technology together and created Apple. But Steve Jobs was prepared. He was driven. He knew how to sell. He took that, paired it with Wozniak, and Apple was born, right? Many of you guys have kids. We all spend a ton of money at McDonald's, right? Just a ton of money. I love Happy Meals. Chicken McNuggets, ooh. and the spicy hot mustard sauce, ooh, good stuff, right? Everybody thinks that Ray Kroc founded McDonald's. He didn't. He was an opportunistic milkshake sales guy that ran into the McDonald's brother and figured out a way to con that business out of them, right? Okay? Be prepared. These guys are opportunistics. They were prepared. And when opportunity knocked at their door, they opened up and they brought it in, right? And they delivered. But just because you were there at the right time doesn't mean that the business will be successful. So you have to define your service. Define your delivery methods. Set a standard service level that is in line with your moral standards. Okay? We're not in business to cheat anybody. Okay? Become a thought leader in your field. Become the expert in your profession. Learn every single thing about your business, no matter how small or insignificant. Jadota, he saw me taking the garbage out. What he didn't see was a couple nights before that, I was in the parking lot at 2 a.m. because the bathrooms were all plugged up, and I pulled up the manhole cover, and wastewater was right at the parking lot level. I called the plumber. He came out, took a huge hot water jet, put it down there, start jetting. It popped. The pressure was released. That sewer water shot up 40 feet in the air, and I was covered with crap, right? Okay. But again, I needed to understand that. So I tell all my staff, if I'm asking you to stick your hand down that toilet and going down to the gooseneck and pulling out what's down there, I've done that already. That's why I'm asking you to do it, right? You gotta know that. You have to understand, no matter how small it is, the insignificant things in there. You need to understand so that when your client asks you for anything, you would have thought it through, you can explain it to them, and you can communicate with them. When a client asks you a question, and you need to know the answer, and you need to anticipate the 2 or 3 follow-up questions that answer is going to generate. You need to be the first thing that pops into the mind of that client when they run into any issue, regardless of the issue. Okay? In today's world, I see a lot of young people, and I hire a lot of people. I see a lot of young people where they say, well, that's not really in my job description, right? That's not really my responsibility. Well, I sent the email 3 days ago. They didn't respond. It can't be my fault, right? Oh, I texted them. They never responded. It can't be my fault, okay? Everything's your fault. Everything is your fault, okay? Unless you don't make everything your fault, your client won't be there. When your client calls you, they don't care who's responsible. They don't care whose fault it is. You're there to fix it. Everything is your fault, okay? What we tell our client is, when you hire us, we have nothing to hide. You are welcome at every single meeting that we have, but you should never feel obligated to be at any one, because you know that we'll have your best interests at heart, whatever we do, okay? You must determine your competitive advantage. In whatever we do, there's a lot of services. Real estate sales, construction, development, whatever we do. There's entitlement, there's financing, there's title work, there's design, construction, zoning, and everything. But there's gotta be something that you are better than anybody else out there. The magic, right? I was talking to a couple of guys from North Carolina here. Where is that magic? Where in this spectrum of service are you the best at? Yeah. For JB Vang, that's in the financing stack, right? That's in the structure. We can put deals together all day long on the financing side. Because the reality is, if you can't put the money together, you ain't got a deal, right? So I approach development from the financing side. I learned design, I learned entitlement, I learned construction, but I approach development from the financing side. Whatever services you guys are in, you need to figure that piece out. What is that competitive advantage? Where is that magic? And if you capture that magic, everything else falls in line. You put the financing together, everything else falls in line. But if you come from generational wealth, you're one of the 12% that got a lot of money, financing is not a big deal. As long as you know how to design it and build it, right? It doesn't really matter. Yeah. So find out where that piece is. Because of the way that we deliver our service, we have a lot of loyalty. When I left Western Bank in 2002, I had a client that I just made a loan to for them to build their building back because they lost it in a fire. And when I left, he called me and said, "Hey, I'd like to hire you to help me build this building." And I'm like, "Well, you do know I don't know how to build buildings, right?" He's like, "Yeah, I know." I go, "So then why do you want to hire me?" He's like, "Well, here's the thing. I don't know how to build buildings either." Right? But you seem to know what you're doing. You ask the right question. You don't know how to build buildings. I don't know how to build buildings. I don't know how to ask the right question. You know how to ask the right question. You're better than me, so let's do it. Right? Oh, well, okay, let's go do it, right? That's the first development project I did. And it's about 400,000, right? We made about 40,000 bucks gross fee, right? Today we spend 40,000 bucks on one set of one rendering, right? But that goes to say that, you know, our clients, they need to build that trust in us. We have to allow them to build that trust in us, okay? As I said before, when you're delivering a service and when you are taking people's money, everything is your responsibility. Loyalty comes from a client feeling that no matter what the situation is, you will make decisions that is in their best interest. Final point. How you carry yourself what matters a lot. In my life, as I've said to you guys before, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm not the one with the 150 IQ, right? I think I barely break the 90 number there. So I try to make things really simple, okay? I tell my staff, if you're gonna bring me stuff, one page. One page. If you can't fit it on one page, don't bring it to me. Because I don't know how to read it after that. So one page is all I need. You need to figure out how to put everything onto one page, right? And you can't go eight size fonts either, okay? You gotta keep it at that 10 to 11, right? But I live by a really simple rule in everything that I do in business. Just because you can doesn't mean that you should. Real simple, okay? You are your biggest champion. You are your biggest critic. You are the only one that can police yourself, okay? I'm sure all of you guys are Hmong. All of you guys have kutina ya. Tatimo achi kutimo shi tamo shi halo ko ni samo taite ni samo block te samo yon ni mo yeah. It doesn't matter. The only person that can police him is him. Yeah, okay? You have to hold yourself to a higher standard, okay? No one can help you. Once you compromise this, there's no going back, okay? I've told this story before, and Stephen Tao probably heard this, so I apologize, Stephen, I'm going to say it again. So in my life, I play a little bit of golf. I'm not good, but I play. And I learned a great lesson when I was at Western Bank. I was chasing a large client, and I've been chasing the client for a couple of years. One day the client called me and said, "Hey, I have a tee time, and I need a fourth. My fourth just dropped out. Can you fill it?" I go, "Absolutely. You don't need to ask twice on that one, right?" So I jumped at the opportunity, and I spent 6 hours playing golf with him, right? Learned about what he wanted, learned about his business a little bit deeper, understood his motivation, learned about his family. You don't get to spend 6 hours with people. And if you do, that's a blessing. That is a blessing, okay? When everything was said and done, I was putting my bags in my car, and he said, "Hey, Kou, send me that last financing proposal that you've been trying to get me to look at. I'll sign it and send it back to you, and let's start the process of moving my accounts over." I'm like, holy crap, right? 6 hours, that's what I get? Awesome, right? So we did. We moved all the account over, a huge client, did a lot of work with them. After a while, when I was comfortable enough, I asked him, I said, so I'm just curious, what happened? I chased you for 3 years. You don't even give me the time of day. I play golf with you for 6 hours, and all of a sudden, I have you as a client. He said this to me, Kou, I never do business with anyone that I don't play golf with. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. And I said, why is that? He said, because how you carry yourself on that golf course tells me a lot about who you are as an individual. Now, the way you handle yourself after a bad shot, you're not screaming and yelling, you're not swearing, right? It tells me that you can control your emotion and your objective about the long view. You're not an immediate satisfaction kind of a person, okay? The way you tend to the flagstick while I'm putting shows me how you tend to my assets and my needs and my goals. That you notice that that's what you need to do. The way that you repair divots and not walk across my putting line and remain quiet while I'm putting shows me that you respect me and you respect my values and what's important to me. Okay, so I'm not saying all of you guys are going to learn how to play golf, okay? I know two can't play golf. That's dangerous playing golf with two. You got to wear hard hats and everything, right? Okay. I'm not saying you guys all learn how to go play golf, but what I am saying is this, is that you never know what people are looking at you for, what they notice in you, how you carry yourself, and how they make that split decision if they want to do business with you, they want to invest with you, or if they want to be a partner with you. So always carry yourself in a respectable manner that is reflective of your value, regardless if people are watching or not. Just because you can doesn't mean that you should, right? Regardless of the businesses that you guys are in, there are plenty of opportunity to create wealth. As Warren Buffett says, you can make money in a down economy, you can make money in an up economy. You just need to know how to manage, okay? Many of us start businesses, but we don't run the businesses, okay? We don't manage the businesses. I have a friend, he has a business up here. It's a good business, probably doing $1 million a year, right? So he came to me and he says, hey, you know, is it okay if I buy some of your business? I go, well, why would you want to buy my business? He's like, well, you know, my business is just not sophisticated enough for me, right? I can run that business in my sleep. So I think I need more because I'm such a capable businessman, right? But when you look at his business, he's in the same business as I'm in, right? He's not doing a tenth of what we do. If you're gonna spend the time and the resources and the energy to start a business, run that business, manage that business, okay? And if you don't, why are you in there? You're just wasting time and wasting money. Let me tell you guys a story. So when I was fortunate enough to take over Legacy Funeral Home in 2005, all the decedents that was coming before us was born in the 1910s, 1920s, 1930s. As time went on, you notice that those years are getting closer and closer to your birth year, right? Gives you a little bit of a reality check, right? Holy crap, I'm not invincible, I'm not immortal, right? And so as we started noticing that, the demographics of the folks that were coming in to do the arrangement also started changing, right? 2015, we started making the change. We reevaluated our business model and we started going, you know what? Our demographics are changing. So we started being a little bit more innovative. We started adding web pages. We started adding electronic, arrangements. We started adding all these things. Before 2016, we were probably 80% of the people that came through our doors were elders. Today, 80% of the people that come through our door are under 40. Okay, the community is changing. They demand more. Here's the beauty. Before 2016, those 80%, when they come and they do the arrangement and the funeral is done and they come and pay, the first thing they ask you is, right? Oh, kaya to ko, She looked down below, you know, you need to do it in your palm. Okay? But you can set an appointment for 1 o'clock and show up at 1:30 and they don't yell at you. Okay? My clientele today, you set an appointment at 1, you better show up at 12 or at 12:55 or they're going to text you at 1:01, right? But when the funeral's done, they don't want to know who you are because they're not asking for a discount anyway, so it really doesn't matter, right? Okay? The demographics are changing. You have to meet that demographics or your business is not going to be there. This is what I mean when I say many people start businesses, but they don't run them. They don't manage them. In this great country, where outcome is a direct relation to the effort that we put in, the possibilities are limitless. Being a person of integrity, having a moral compass, being prepared, being an expert and a thought leader in the delivery of your services, carrying yourself with integrity and worthy of people's trust, that's how I felt that has made me experience a little bit of success in which I have. Okay? Right? I've been doing this since 1996. If I know then what I know now, my God, I can scale this thing like it was going out of style, right? But the thing is, we don't want to teach. That's why I'm so grateful to Chai and Kou Vang and all these guys for putting these things together so that we can all teach. So we can all teach what little bit we know. And maybe that little bit along with a little bit from somebody else, a little bit from somebody else, will help you guys kind of move forward. You're all on your own individual journey. I'm not walking it with you, nor are you walking mine. This may be your first step towards that. This may be a recharging because you've lost that drive. Because you live in North Carolina and there's just not that many Hmong, right? Or this may be a reset. Now, regardless what it is, don't let the naysayers distract you. You guys know this, okay? You're working weekends, you're working Saturday. 3 months later, you walk about right? It's true, probably is. But then again, is it because they have given up and they feel defeated? Misery loves company. They want you to be in that same hole as they are. They don't want you to be better. They don't want you to be wealthy. They don't want you to be financially better. That's no fun. Because you become better and they're still down there. Yeah. The naysayers are very difficult. I work really hard. You can ask my wife. I work 10 hours a day, Saturday and Sunday. This Saturday, I got to go open up a funeral home because one of my guys needs to go do a wedding, right? And I get that all the time. My God, go. Is it because they don't have anything and they want me to be just like them? Okay. Look at it from multiple factors. Okay. We're all so fortunate to be in this country. Okay. To have the opportunities to make our dreams a reality. Where else in this world can 2 kids from Laos, born in a third world country, do what we do? Be what we are? Nowhere. Not even in Laos we can do this, right? Where else can we do this? As I tell my son, I'm so excited for you. So excited. I wish I was just starting out. The world is your oyster. Go and make your dream a reality, whatever that dream might be. Okay? Okay? 古山頭講翻主要 show 不講日子嘛，逢工逢忙都未出嚟做到了嘛。Okay? 因為你忙下呀，佢就係那個當道นะ，佢到那個時期當塊面大家都得估啊。Okay? Thank you very much for your time. Okay?
Secret is that group up there. They're the millionaires. I'm telling you right now, that right here, this. Yeah, Johnson, maybe you'll have like a plug or like LinkedIn or something like that. You can yeah, I mean, yeah.